And welcome to Jim Totino Field here at Fridley, Totino-Grace High School, as the Eagles tonight host Champlin Park in a Metro North District matchup here. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox along with Ryan Iverson. Allie Mosley will join us from the sideline. And Ryan, obviously a strange year with all the different changes due to COVID and everything, but both these teams, solid seasons. They're kind of having a couple games where they think, we could have done a little bit better at this and that, but both coming in 2-2 and seemingly pretty evenly matched as we head into tonight.
Well, and two really become state powers in football. Totino-Grace obviously sustained excellence at the top for a long time. Champlin Park in the Prep Bowl last year. So very talented programs, great weather here tonight. But you said it, with the climate that we're in, not weather, but just with COVID going on, a couple of losses for Champlin Park where their schedule was in disarray. But that's it is what it is, and we got a good one here tonight.
Jay Anderson taking over as head coach of the Eagles this season after Jeff Ferguson retired after I would safe to say, spectacular coaching career really here at Totino-Grace. Jay's been on the staff for about 18 years, but obviously not an ideal, as we could look at Jay right there, not an ideal season to have as your first one with all that's gone on. But he said, all in all, I like the way the kids have competed. We've come back and, we've done some good things here too. We're going to take a quick time out here as the national anthem is played, and we'll come back and get our football started here. It is the Rebels and the Eagles up next here on CCX.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
Welcome back here to Totino-Grace. We said the weather is great out tonight, and that is good news for the players and the coaches, and also for Allie Mosley down on the sideline. Let's go to Allie.
Jay, it feels great. This is a total difference from 30 degrees colder last week. But you know what? We are here for Totino-Grace's first home game of the season. They are donning a new head coach, new offensive and defensive coordinator, a whole new offense, and hey, why not spread a little COVID pandemic on top of that, right? So needless to say, it's been a season of change for Totino-Grace. One that Coach Jay Anderson, our new head coach for Totino-Grace, says has actually been going really, really good. And he said he really gives all the credit in the world to his coordinators and coaching staff who worked so hard and effortlessly throughout the summer to set these guys up for success amidst so much change, and it's been working. Now these guys, yes, are 2-2, but they could easily be 4-0. Both of their losses, they've only lost by 4 points in both of those games. But Coach reminded me, he said his team doesn't play for the scoreboard, they have to finish games. They need to minimize mistakes tonight because he believes the winner of this one, it's gonna come down to just 5 plays. Guys?
Thanks, Allie. And Michael Ogar kicking off here. Cam Hammonds on the return for Champlin Park, and he is out well past the 30. And a pretty good field position for the Champlin Park Rebels. They have had some injury issues. 5 regular starters not available to them, or a couple have been coming back too, but the Rebels with the football at the 35 as they get their first possession of the contest. They've got a junior at quarterback, Cade Fitzgerald, kind of learning on the job. They've had a run of a couple really good quarterbacks in the last couple of years. And Jace Miller last year helping them to the Prep Bowl.
Well, you see that 41% completion. That's what Coach Keenan talked about. We just got to get accurate throws. Even if they're not big gainers, just accurate completions.
Well, they got that one out in the flat and complete, but it doesn't do much for the Rebels there as Sharif Bolarinwa with the reception, but he'll be stopped for no gain, as a nice stop coming up to medium there for Deeswin Cooper for Totino-Grace.
As you look at the Champlin Park starters, but even though that didn't go for a big gain, I think, and there's a look at Nick Keenan, who's done a great job here at Champlin Park. they have such a good running game that teams are going to stack the box, even if you can throw outside like that, not necessarily for big gains, but just to spread that defense out a little bit.
They will call it a gain of 1, actually, on that first down pass. They go same thing the other way, and same 2 guys involved. Same receiver, same tackler, and more or less the same result.
Yep.
Actually, I'm sorry, Edmund O'Cansey that time taking that pass for the Rebels. No, it was Sharif again, so.
Cooper doing a nice job reading pass. I think Champlin Park maybe trying to surprise the Eagles by a couple of quick throws early, but very well defended both times by Cooper.
So 3rd down and long here for Champlin Park. Fitzgerald rolling out right, pressure coming, and he takes off, and he's going to have the first down. Just out over the 45. He's been a quick runner, maybe a little bit better as a runner than a thrower right now, but he'll come up with a first down right there for the Rebels.
Well, he's got great speed, and you can see he made a good decision right there to decide to tuck it in. Great speed, able to get to the outside, and it was just a race there to the first down marker. And that's one of the things Champlin Park in their losses, Jay, unable to convert 3rd downs, unable to sustain drives, so a big 3rd down conversion right there.
First down at their own 46 now. Here is Sean Shipman getting his first carry. Shipman crosses midfield and will have a pickup of nearly 5 on that. He's obviously their big returning back from a year ago and had a great year. And having a good year, not maybe great at this point, although he certainly has done a solid job for them overall.
Yeah, averaging over 100 yards per game, but his biggest thing is being 100% healthy. When he's healthy, he is a monster running back, and what Champlin Park just did on that play, that's what their identity is. And if they're able to do that, and they need that big offensive line to physically dominate the line of scrimmage.
Fitzgerald on a planned run here, and a flag is down, and he is down, and there's another flag maybe, or they're just moving the first one as Michael Sauer coming up to make the stop there for Totino-Grace. Probably in a spot where you might be looking at a hold there. Oops, a little feedback action here in the referee's microphone. And they'll march off 10 against the Rebels here.
Yeah, and actually surprised Totino-Grace took the penalty. I thought maybe with the loss of yards they'd make it 3rd down, but let's see where we can catch the hold. Yeah, right there, maybe on the outside.
Yeah, I think it might have been more in the backfield. Yeah. Oh, Shipman got his arms out on the outside of the frame there of Patrick O'Donnell. I think that was the call. And that one, not much doing there, as stacked up after a gain of maybe 2 is Shipman.
Well, Champlin Park, just not throwing the ball as effectively this year. When you're put in these 3rd and long situations, Jay, you become predictable, right? Because you have to take a shot down the field. And I think that's why you saw them throwing early on, trying to get some more balance on offense. But now you got that 3rd and long, you got an aggressive Totino-Grace defense, and you're forcing a quarterback who this year has not been overly accurate to try to pick up a big throw down the field.
Third and 13 now for Champlin Park. Fitzgerald looking out left, and that is incomplete as he tried to find Bowler-Inwa again.
Yeah, got good protection there, had a nice pocket, able to set his feet. A good-looking ball, just missed a little bit high into the outside.
Looked like the receiver maybe slipped just a little bit when making his cut there too, and that one probably looked more off because of that, I think.
But you take it for a win, right? You had a clean pocket. You got a couple completions, even though they didn't go for big gains on that drive. Something to build off of.
And a fair catch called for and made there for the Eagles by Connor Schusted. And so Totino-Grace will get the football for the first time at about their 38-yard line here, and They, in contrast, have a much more veteran quarterback on their side of things with Krzysztof Kołakowski, as you see what he's done. A third year as a regular in their program.
Yeah, he's got a strong arm too. 50% accuracy, not a ton of yards, but see those 6 touchdowns. Very capable when he does throw the ball. And it's a nice compliment to what we're going to see a lot of tonight, which is number 22, Hunter Carlson.
Boy, he is having an outstanding season for the Eagles, averaging nearly 200 yards a game. Carlson will pick up a couple there out to the 35. I misspoke earlier and said 38. They were starting on the 33. So 2nd down and 8 coming for the Eagles as you get a look at their offensive group. And this one well stacked up again here. Not much of a gain, if any, so bring up a 3rd down and long.
Well, I think what you're doing in this game, Jay, is you're pitting the strength of Totino-Grace, which is Hunter Carlson. He's a tremendous runner, averaging 8 yards per carry. But you're going to see some great linebacking play, and you can see right there, number 43 coming up. That's Hayden Sanders making the play. So athletic, attacking linebackers of this Champlin Park defense against Hunter Carlson. It'll be interesting to see who wins that battle.
And Tristan Sanchez got in there. He kind of blew that up. He didn't really get the tackle, but he helped to mess it up initially. Kołakowski's throw that time is going to fall incomplete as he was looking out for R.J. Spencer. So it's going to be a quick 3 and out, it would appear, here for Totino-Grace, as he had a pretty clean pocket for the most part. Sanders coming late.
Ooh.
Maybe a little too late there.
And low, too. That's one of the, in the NFL, that would have been called a penalty, trying to protect the legs. But even though he didn't complete that, you can tell he's got a great arm, strong arm.
Arya Schrecker into punt here for Totino-Grace, and Evan Hammond's back deep.
Say that 10 times in a row.
Yeah. Hammonds again back deep on kickoffs and punts, and he got away a great one.
Yeah, he did.
And Evan Hammond's not going to make a gamble at it there. He's going to watch it bounce all the way back inside the 15.
Well, and I'll tell you, in a game where it looks like defense might prevail here, at least early on, switching field position like that can be a really big momentum gainer for Totino-Grace. In special teams, people don't talk about it enough, especially in high school football, but they can win and lose football games by, block punts, when you fumble a kick or anything like that, but huge punt.
Yeah, it turns into about a 53-yarder when you add in.
Well, and now if your defense can do its job and get a 3 and out, now all of a sudden you take possession at midfield. So flipping the field position is really important, especially in a game like this.
Champlin Park got 1 first down, first time they had the football here, but this time not very good field position. Shipman taking the handoff, and a solid gainer out to about the 18 there. They really like their O-line coming into this year. Real big group, but they've had some injuries there, and it's led to having to move some people around. Nick Keenan was telling us that they were looking at becoming more of a power running team this year than what they'd been in the past, because of the fact that they had such good backs and good line and inexperienced at quarterback, but they have had to tweak that a little bit. Oops. Unable to hold on there was big Emmanuel Alabi. It's number 63, only 6'4" and 340, and he got rocking backward, and he just couldn't stop the train there.
Yeah, you see the size of that O-line. It looks like you're watching Big Ten football. 340, 315, 270, 250, just some big bodies up front. And you combine that with Shipman, who's a pretty powerful running back as well. You can see why they can have success running the football.
They had another great back go down with an injury, Darius Givens, who is he is a dynamite back. They were planning to use he and Shipman in the backfield, quite a bit this year too, together. And Shipman gets rocked pretty good there as he was met early by Roman Passaretti and Shonda Schrecker as well for Totino-Grace.
Yeah, you could tell they knew that was coming. A little bit of a high snap there, but nice job just getting off blocks. to stop the run as a linebacker, especially D-ends, you got to get off blocks and make those tackles. And Totino-Grace very athletic in that front seven, able to meet him right at the line of scrimmage.
Give a little credit there too also to Sam Fretheim, got him around the waist there as they definitely were ready and ganged up on Shipman there. So 3rd and 9 now for Champlin Park. Fitzgerald rolling to the right, looking to throw on the run, and in and out of the hands there as he was once again going to Bolarinwa, and looked like a pretty well thrown ball that time.
And that's where you got to help your quarterback out. That's a tough throw, sprinting out to your right under pressure, and he put it right on the numbers. Great patience too. He didn't, kind of let the play develop, and again, that ball's really well thrown. Pretty well defended too by Sauer. He had a hand in there right on contact, but that's when you got to catch and keep the chains moving.
DJ Miles on to punt here for Champlin Park. Ooh, and a high snap, but also a flag down before the play could ensue.
Champlin Park had a punt blocked last week too, so special teams.
Number 26.
So they are already hurting themselves with penalties early on in this game. Well, and they had an injury to a long snapper too. We were talking about some of the things that, and again, it's, every team's dealing with some things here and there, so it's hard to, you just have to deal with it, but.
What a good snap.
Got that one out of there.
Uh-oh.
Schustad has some trouble with it now, trying to get on it.
Yep, I think he got on it.
He didn't panic as he
I was going to say, it was very nonchalant.
Ball there.
Watch this. After the ball goes off his hands here, very nonchalant on the run over. I don't know if he knew how close Champlin Park was, but able to get on it. And either way, it's going to be great field position here for the Eagles.
So look at Nick Keenan. I didn't hear the call there. We're going to replay the down and have to kick it over.
Huh. I didn't see. Was there a penalty?
Must have been. Rush coming, but Miles gets it out of there, and this time.
Got a good punt.
Yeah, got a little bit better for Champlin Park, as unable to get over there was Schustad. So it'll still be great field position though for Totino-Grace, as they'll have the football at about the 45 of Champlin Park. And so the field position back and forth with the punting now going kind of the Eagles' direction there, is able to pin Champlin Park deep. Oh, we did have an inadvertent whistle on that previous one, not a penalty. I didn't think I saw a flag anywhere, but actually, as it turned out, it didn't make a whole lot of difference as far as where the ball wound up.
Helped Champlin Park, but it makes you nervous to have to snap it again in your own end zone like that.
Little shovel pass there, and Carlson breaks free. Carlson might go here. One guy with a shot, O'Cansey trying to push him out. It's a touchdown. 45 yards. It'll be officially a forward pass on that little shuttle pass, and Carlson will go in for the touchdown as the Eagles strike first. Threw a little different wrinkle at him there.
Yeah, a little trickery there. Going to the left, the shuttle pass back to the right. And Carlson, great speed, but he had a couple of really nice moves there when he was going through the line of scrimmage. Very elusive, able to keep those feet going. And once he got to that second level, it was a race, and he was going to win that one all the way. Showing off why he averages almost 200 yards per game rushing. His 10th touchdown run, too, on the year.
Loger in for the extra point, and it is good. And so with 4:52 to go here in the first, it becomes 7-0 Totino-Grace. As you get a look, they go motion the other way and fake that handoff, and Rebels got caught upfield a little bit. Nice job by Carlson, too, to kind of keep the right angle there, that he wasn't going to be able to be run out of bounds. He still had a little room, even if he got pushed like he did late by O'Cansey.
Right there. It was that he making that guy miss, a second guy miss, and then that cut back out to the right here. Champlin Park pursuing to their right side of the field. And a nice cutback, good vision. You know, Hunter Carlson and any running back, if you're averaging 8 yards per carry, 200 yards per game, you got to be elusive, but you got to have great vision too. And he certainly had it on that. You can see his teammates, they're fired up. That young man gets the ball in his hands. He is electric.
I'm sure that's a play that they worked on in practice this week too, and you're thinking, you know, I can't wait till that's called, and we got to see how that works out, and it couldn't have been much better.
And it's a tough one too, Jay, because it's so much about timing, and if there's one little thing that gets mixed up, it can be a turnover, right? It's a tough play to execute, but they did a great job on it.
Kick fielded on about the 14 by Cam Hammonds. Coach Keenan was talking about how they got the 2 Hammonds back there on returns. He said most of the time on film we can't tell which one it is, one or the other. They look so similar running the ball back. And that one was Cameron Hammonds, number 18. See, 5'5" and 150. And his brother listed at 5'5", 140, but there's still a place for guys in football. If you can play, you can play.
Yeah, if you're quick and you're tough, and it's the size of the dog in the fight, not the size, or the size of the fight in the dog, not the dog in the fight. Play with great passion. It doesn't matter how big and tall you are.
Yeah, both those guys played some pretty key roles for the Rebels last year on that run to the Prep Bowl. So from the 35, Fitzgerald looking out, throwing, and Meyer unable to hang on. He got popped by Cooper right as the ball arrived, but still, again, like you said earlier, you got to help your quarterback out there a little bit.
Well, and playing quarterback is so much about confidence, and right now, putting the ball right on the money, those are good throws by Fitzgerald. Again, not a big gain, but a confidence builder. You know, it would have been a gain of 5 or 6, so it's a good first down play. And I think the key for the Rebels, Jay, is they got to win first and second down so their third downs are more manageable, and it's plays like that get you there.
Schmitz had a touchdown last week against Rosemont on an interesting play. It was a rollout right and then a throwback way across the field. Fitzgerald drops it. Battle for that ball. The Eagles had some bodies coming, and I think Grace at first looked like they might have got it, and they did. Eagles will wind up with the football as Fitzgerald unable to hold on to that snap.
Well, it's one of those, we see receivers do that when they, before they watch the ball into their hands, they're looking at the defenders. You can see he was already looking to the right, knowing it was a design quarterback sweep there, but an excellent job getting into the backfield too by Mason Molitor. And by him going low right there, I think allowed that ball to stay free and allowed, I don't know if Molitor covered it or if one of his teammates did, but heads up play.
Yeah, he went after that hard. I mean, he wasn't thinking about scooping it up or anything. It was just, I got to get on that. And it left an awkward spot for the quarterback. It was kind of right at his feet. So from the 30, handoff here going to Deeswin Cooper. He breaks a tackle and ruled down about the 21 or 22. So nice gainer on first down as they gave Carlson a little bit of a breather there, and Cooper gets the nice run.
They put Carlson out in the slot here to the left, and I'll tell you what it does is he's a great pass catcher too, and so the defense has to focus on that. That allows Cooper maybe to sneak a couple of extra carries, but they will throw it to Carlson as well when he is in the slot.
Second down and 2 now. Kolakowski swinging it out right, complete. Here's Carlson again. Just chopped down by Miles from behind, but inside the 5 at about the 4-yard line. It'll be first and goal to go.
Yeah, great play calling, great rhythm on that. They run it, this time a little fake. Beautiful throw, and I'll tell you what they did is, that's trusting your receiver to be in that spot. That was kind of a dangerous throw, but great catch by Carlson.
Yeah, from the angle we had up here, it looked like, whoo, he's really throwing that into traffic, but they had it blocked well out front, too.
Yep. And again, Carlson could have been tackled for a 2-yard gain, made a great cutback. And DJ Miles, to your point, Jay, made a touchdown-saving tackle from behind.
Yeah, Miles has had a nice year defensively. Here's Carlson, a nice little cut there, and then Miles met him met him hard, drove him back. He did get down to, it looks like, close to the 1 yard line, though. Boy, again, a very nice little cut in short space there for Carlson. Here is a look at Coach Anderson here. So far, so good for his team here tonight. They're up 7-0 and on the doorstep, trying to punch it in again here with about 3 minutes to go here in the first.
Yeah, and used to calling the plays for years here, and I know that's always one of the toughest things when you then become the head coach. You give up those play calling duties. Not always easy to do.
Fakes it to Carlson and drops the pass off for the touchdown. Sam Fredheim on the reception there for Totino-Grace.
I'll tell you what, when you got a running back who commands that much attention, what's going to work on top of that is play action. And I think Champlin Park was expecting Hunter Carlson again up the middle. Great play action, and wide open was Fredheim. Easy throw, easy catch. And that's what you got to do. When you want to win games, you want to get big leagues, you create turnovers, you got to be able to execute and score off of those turnovers. Totino-Grace certainly did that.
Extra point try by Logers up and through. So with 2:45 to go here in quarter number 1, it is Totino-Grace stretching the lead now to 14-0 over Champlin Park.
Yep, great play action. Tight end just releasing. Easy throw for a quarterback too. Wide open. Sometimes those are the harder ones to catch. I'm telling you, Jay, when you're wide open and you know everyone's watching you and you're thinking about it, sometimes when you're in rhythm and you're being guarded, it just happens. That's not an easy catch. But great play calling, I think, tonight for Totino-Grace, how they've attacked the Rebel defense here.
Yeah, and it's interesting because both teams, I think, probably expected to see a real heavy dose of the tailback because they both have really good ones. And so far, working in some different wrinkles in the passing game has certainly worked a whole lot better for Grace than it has for Champlin Park.
Well, I'll tell you, too, what makes Totino-Grace tough to defend is you move Carlson out to that slot, and you got to respect it, as we saw him with that pass catch that he had. But, Deeswin Cooper's not a bad athlete back there at halfback too, so you can't really forget about it. So they're tough to defend. When you can throw and run the ball inside and outside effectively, hard to guard.
And dropped this time by Cam Hammonds. He'll pick it up at about the 15, and then he is met, and there's Fredheim. That's what you love about high school football. Guy just catches a touchdown pass, and he's the first guy down there on the kick coverage and making a tackle. We do have a flag down on the play.
Personal foul, blindside block, receiving team number 33. That penalty will be assessed after this.
Blindside block on the return, a personal foul against the Rebels.
Yeah, and we talk every week we do games, we talk about momentum, and right now it is all on the Eagles side, and there you get a penalty. So, again, poor starting field position for the Rebels. They need something positive.
There was peeling back.
It looked like both guys ran into each other. I don't know about that.
I didn't even think he hit him hard enough for it to be a penalty either, regardless. But first down on about the 7. Fitzgerald's going to run it himself, and down he goes at the 10 or so.
Michael Sauer in there again. He's just flying in that backfield, making tackles, playing strong safety, basically acting almost as another linebacker in the box, knowing Champlin Park's going to be run heavy. I'll tell you what, sometimes no matter how good you are as a quarterback or as a running back, when you got 9, 10 guys in that box, there's just nowhere to go. I think Champlin Park's going to have to get something down the field here to soften the defense up.
Got about 3 there, so second down and 7. Go with the handoff here, and Shipman. Nice gainer for Champlin Park, and he should have enough for the first down, it would appear.
And that's good. That's a big first down for the Rebels, just to get a little bit of confidence, a little bit of rhythm going on this possession.
Let's go down to Allie.
Guys, Ryan was just talking about Michael Sauer, and he's getting a lot more reps at that defensive back position because Nick Hand is out with a shoulder injury. Nick Hand is so good that he's going to go on and play college ball, but Coach said that Michael Sauer's really come in and done a great job, but it was just 2.5 weeks ago is when he just came back to playing football. He was coming off of a broken foot, so he's been doing really well despite that injury.
Fitzgerald looking deep downfield, and Edmund O'Cansey behind the defense, and he's going to go for the touchdown. 83 yards. You asked for something down the field, Ryan. There it was.
I promise I know what I'm talking about when I talk about football, but great play call and even better execution. That was just a beautifully thrown ball. I'll tell you, Cade Fitzgerald, he having some accuracy issues this year. He's been accurate tonight. He's put a couple right on the money, and that one was just an excellent thrown ball. And O'Cansey with great speed, able to run right underneath it, and big-time play and a much-needed response by the Rebels. This was all going to Totino-Grace momentum. So what an answer.
Well, that's the type when you're the defensive team, you look up and you go, uh-oh, because he was a good 5 yards behind the defender there. Jaden Rasmussen-Deo able to bang it through for Champlin Park, and now all of a sudden their outlook is a whole lot better after this touchdown. It's 14-7. Yeah,
and again, excellent play call, and Totino-Grace, rightfully so, putting a lot of guys up into that box, daring them to beat them over the top. And Champlin Park said, all right, we got to take a shot, and they executed. You can see how fired up they are, especially that young man. Look at Fitzgerald. He's excited. His biggest pass play. Beautifully thrown ball, too. Quarterback's such a position of confidence. You can go in waves, and struggling to complete some easier throws. That time, you couldn't have asked for a better thrown ball.
You wonder a little bit too, Ryan, if did the Rebels coaches from up top see something that Totino-Grace was biting on some of these play action or whatnot, and thinking to themselves, we've got a shot to go deep on that side.
Well, a lot of times when you bring your strong safety or your free safety in, to defend the run, you put your cornerbacks in man-to-man coverage deep like that, and O'Cansey with great speed. Probably not thinking he was going to run by him. They just hadn't seen that much on film, but excellent thrown ball.
Carlson on the kick return there for Totino-Grace. Got popped by Armand Nichols for the Rebels. So Grace will start it just shy of their 30-yard line here as they're playing well first quarter, leading, but now 14-7 after that long touchdown pass by Champlin Park.
And you think about how important that play was, that answer. Champlin Park goes 3 and out. Totino gets another score. All of a sudden, you're on the verge of a blowout, but instead, you get that big play. Now you feel like we're right back in this game. Big time answer.
Kolkowski will go with the handoff here to Carlson, and he'll pick up 2, maybe 3 there as met first there for the Rebels, I believe, by Bud Stark, who's now starting on both sides of the ball. He's been a regular as an offensive lineman and now getting the call defensively as well. They're big number 69.
Yeah, big, strong kid, 250 pounds, physical, and he's earned his spot on defense too. Very physical up front.
Second and about 8. Carlson taking the handoff there, trying to squeeze free, but wrapped up. Miles coming up, and also Daniel Walker.
Yeah, you got to see number 16 for Totino-Grace, Joe Alt. Look at him on the bottom of your screen, tight end. Watch his drive blocking. And he's not blocking. He's blocking Charlie Hansen, who's an excellent defensive end. How would you like to have 6'8", 275 pounds at tight end blocking you on every play? There's a reason he's going to Notre Dame, folks.
We were talking about that earlier today in the office with my coworker John Jacobson. Said, how would you like when you come out for a high school football game and that you line up and that's who's across from you? Yeah.
That's where you want to go to the other side. You want to be able to have that ability to audible and go to whatever side you want to. But I mean, not only 6'8", 275 pounds, but look at the leverage, look at the athleticism too, and sticking with your block. So many kids block for, 1/2 second or so. He stayed with it, and he's got good hands too. He's got a big target. kind of a safety valve, too, for a quarterback.
3rd and 6, rush coming, and Kowalkowski is dropped as Hayden Sanders takes him down. Sanders coming back off an injury and got through there and got low on the big quarterback Kowalkowski and brings him down for a sack. That's probably going to be the last play, it looks like, of this first quarter, as we'll tick down to zeros and the quarter will come to an end here at an eventful first quarter.
Yeah.
14-7, Totino-Grace after one. We'll be right back here to Jim Totino Field in a moment here on CCX.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Roku and Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You'll also have access to a large on-demand library, including daily newscasts and full sporting events. To find the app, go to the store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. Now available on Roku and Apple TV.
And welcome back as Shonda Schraker getting set to punt for the Eagles. I'm sorry, we had a timeout before that quarter. I think this was a win thing.
Oh, yeah.
And there we see why. And it's bobbled and then recovered by Cameron Hammond. So now that is the end of the first quarter. I apologize. The clock ticked down to 0 and the players went off, I thought for sure, but apparently they had a timeout had been taken right before that quarter just because of that. So
you could feel the wind, too, when we were down on the field from on our screen, left to right, or excuse me, right to left wind, and Totino-Grace wanting to have that behind, and you could see why. Another good 40, 50-yard punt on that one. That was nice.
Hammonds had a little trouble with the handle, but it was able to get on top of it here. So another look at some of the first quarter action as the completion to Fredheim for the score. And we'll take a quick timeout again here. 14-7 Eagles. Welcome back. Champlin Park getting their allotment of fans, and Totino-Grace as well here. Obviously a lesser number than we would have seen in past years, but getting a chance to at least have some family members come. And a lot of times mom and dad, I guess, would take the tickets available here. So starting at the 32 now, Rebels down 7. Go to Shipman up the middle, ran up the back of his own guy there for a moment and brought down from behind by Fredheim, but a solid push. Nick Keenan was telling us before the game, he said, I kind of challenged our offensive line this week that, you got a lot of size. We need to go out and just start mashing some people a little bit better than what we've been doing.
And it's a mindset, right, Jay? I mean, it's not so much about, they're definitely big enough, strong enough, athletic enough. It's just a mindset. And that's why that score, I think, was so positive. They got that big play. Now they get a stop. All of a sudden, your offensive line's got a little more pep in their step. You can see it. They're moving people off the line of scrimmage a little bit better.
Shipman with the cut there. He's going to be short of the first down as he crosses the 40. And we'll leave him with 3rd and a couple.
But the difference is the first couple possessions, they were 3rd and 9, 3rd and 15. Now you got that 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. So you got a lot more playbook. You still got a run available. Much different when you're able to manage that kind of down and distance.
Yeah, I think that long touchdown had to do a lot for the Rebels' confidence. I mean, even just kind of their tempo coming out of the huddles and stuff looks a little better now. Big 3rd down opportunity here, and Fitzgerald's going to keep it himself. And That hit pretty hard. It looks like you probably have enough, though.
I was going to say, that's a pretty healthy spot right there. That looked like contact right at the line of scrimmage. But Fitzgerald, and that's the advantage of having an athletic quarterback like that.
Kind of wiggling forward there as he was wrapped up high by Sauer and then Fredheim. So they'll spot it at the 43. I thought it was a first down, actually. Here we are sitting.
Well, you can see he kind of wiggled, like you said. He wiggled to the left a little bit. I think that's where he got the extra yardage.
Shipman on the move, took a pop, but spinning his way into Eagles territory, and he looks like he may have another first down here.
I'll tell you, we're our viewers and us, we're getting a treat night tonight with two excellent running backs and a little different. Shipman got some power, but he's also got great speed, and you see his feet. I love watching great running backs, their feet. They're constantly moving like that. You see him avoid contact, add a spin move, finish a run off. He's a physical, gifted runner. Fun to watch.
Now at the Eagles 47, first down and 10 for Fitzgerald and the Rebels. Going to go back to Shipman on the ground, and he is stacked up after a short gainer there. Hanging on down low for
the Molitor
Eagles.
thing.
Molitor, yep.
I'll tell you, and it's key because Mason Molitor, he's a defensive end, and so a lot of times on those runs, you're going to be unblocked on the weak side, and he is coming down the line of scrimmage, making some nice tackles, because if he doesn't make that play, Shipman gets that positive yards going forward.
Second and about 8 here. Shipman's already carried it 9 times for the Rebels.
And keep in mind, too, that Champlin Park has the wind behind them, and we saw that Cade Fitzgerald long touchdown pass against the wind. See if they take another shot here down the field.
Handoff going to Evan Hammonds this time, and well defended by the Eagles as Sean Collins making the stop that time for Grace. And no gainer for Hammonds.
Well, the key to stopping that play is you got to set that edge, not let him get outside, especially as fast as Evan Hammonds is. He can get to the outside, get to that edge in a hurry, but if you don't allow him to get out there, he's got to turn the ball upfield, and that's where you have Pursuit coming down the line making a play.
3 receivers out to the left here on the near side for Fitzgerald. 3rd and 8 coming up. Fitzgerald stepping up, and he's going to try and run for it here. He's got some good speed, Fitzgerald. Then pop, but boy, he really takes off and he's got good feet.
Yeah, he made a quick decision. He's quick, but I want you to watch Patrick O'Donnell, number 7. He was due to make this tackle right about there, and you could see a slip, and I think that allowed just enough time to get Fitzgerald to the outside. You're going to see it in our screen right about there. There was a slip by O'Donnell, and that allowed Fitzgerald, and great up the field, had his head on a swivel so he sees where the defense is. Quick decision making. His second time he's picked up a first down on 3rd and long.
Got 22 on that one, so first down at the Eagles 22. Back to Shipman they go. And Shipman inside the 20 will pick up 2 or 3 there. Shipman running hard.
I'll tell you what's open for Champlin Park, Jay, and you can see it. Every time they run Shipman up the middle, that defensive ends, they're collapsing down. If they can ever run Cade Fitzgerald just on a little play action where he keeps it after that fake handoff, might be able to get to the outside.
And offensive coaches, we should point out, Brian Woodley not here this evening, the offensive coordinator for Champlin Park, as they've had a few coaches that have been touched by COVID, and so Doug Swenson will be is calling the plays this evening for the Rebels. 2nd down and 7 coming up, and they're going to use a timeout right here. And as coaches too, when you're watching, you're always thinking not only about the play that you've just called, but what is it going to set up? What can it lead to?
Yeah, in fact, rarely are you watching that actual play. You're always with that mindset of, okay, if we do this, what's this safety doing? What's that cornerback doing? And you always stash something away for that 3rd and long that you maybe went too early in the game, it didn't work, but you keep it kind of in your back pocket for down the road. So. And that's what makes football so much fun, is the chess match between coaches and both of these guys are, some of the best around too. Nick Keenan in his second year at Champlin Park, obviously a longtime head coach at Big Lake prior to this, played at Eden Prairie.
And he had an earlier stint at Champlin Park too.
Yeah, and Jay Anderson, first-time head coach this year, but obviously he's been a part of a lot of state championships, a lot of big games, called a lot of great plays, had some unbelievable talent over the years. So two excellent head coaches and great staffs really on both sides.
Yeah, a lot of coaches who have been around a long time, and I always kind of wonder which comes first. Is it they stick around because you win, or you win because they stick around? I think it's kind of both.
Goes hand in hand.
Yep. 2nd and 7 now out of the timeout for Champlin Park. Fitzgerald looking down that right sideline, throws up a jump ball, and just knocked away. As Schmitz looked like he had it in his hands, but it looked like the D-back Spencer got his hand in between and kind of raked it out.
Well, R.J. Spencer you couldn't have played it any better, but look at this placement of the throw. I mean, you can't ask for a more accurate throw, and that's been one of the biggest knocks. 23 for 55 on the year, 40% for Cade Fitzgerald, but looks like Aaron Rodgers disguised as the quarterback tonight. He's been extremely accurate.
And Spencer was definitely there, but that was maybe a little more of a drop than a strip out than it looked like. I mean, Spencer did what he should and tried to rake it out, but I think it was already coming out. Little toss out here to Shipman. Wow,
what a play.
Fredheim making the stop.
Well, we saw him catch a touchdown pass earlier, but he did two things on that play, Jay. Did you see him jump to the outside? So he's not allowing Shipman to get outside right there, but then watch him come back off the block and make the play. Unbelievable play. Normally you set the edge and then you allow someone else to come make the tackle. He set the edge, got off the block, and made the tackle. That was an extremely athletic play.
4th down and long here. 4th and about 8 from the 19 for the Rebels.
4th down and 8 for the Rebels.
And see what they've got in their playbook here.
Got man-to-man at the bottom of our screen. See if they go to it.
They do. And it is incomplete. Cooper was there, and Ocansey wanted a flag, but is not going to get it. It'll fall as an incompletion, and the Eagles will take over on downs.
Again, well thrown. It just looked like Ocansey maybe late on getting his head around. You can see just not able to get his head around. That's where you got to get your head around and at least take a look at that. He makes that catch, Jay. That's a first down. Get an accurate throw, too, by Fitzgerald.
Boy, Desmond Cooper was up challenging. He was physical. I mean, he had his hands on him a little bit, but I think that was well played defensively there. And Ocansey as a receiver, as much as you want that flag, you kind of got to tell him you got to fight through that.
You got to make that play.
Yep.
You just got to win that battle and make that catch.
Kolakowski handing it off to Carlson, sweeping to the left. And cut down there. It looked like initially it might go somewhere, but coming up with the stop there, Ocansey was just involved on the other side. And again, they're without Josh Strong, one of their better D-backs for the Rebels. Again, talked about some injuries that have come to some, pretty important players within their lineup. Be 2nd down and 6 now for Totino-Grace. 5.5 to go in the second quarter. 14-7 Eagles. They scored the first 2 scores, and then long TD pass for Champlin Park. Kolakowski under pressure, and down he goes as he is spun down there by Hansen. He realized he was in trouble and tried to cut between the 2 defenders, and almost snuck by him.
Well, and what he did is instead of having a 7-8 yard loss, I think he really mitigated the damage on that. You could see right away, knowing the play action didn't fool anyone, kind of tucking it in and getting a few yards back. But a nice job, Charlie Hansen, who's a very good defensive player, gets in that backfield a lot with the sack.
3rd down and 10 here, so important play for both sides really here. Rebels would love to force a punt at this spot and not allow the Eagles any further advancement here. Kolakowski will hand it off to Carlson. He broke 1 tackle, and Miles stands him up, and he will be very close to the first down here.
How about the confidence in your running back and in your running game, 3rd and 10, to call a handoff. And I think they're going to say, what, he's just about a yard short. But again, Carlson making a couple guys miss, keeping those legs going, and darn near almost got the first down. Picked up about 8.5, 9 yards.
Boy, you're almost tempted to go for it here, but it's so deep in your own territory that you almost have to kick it out of there.
But when you got a running back averaging 8 yards a carry, doesn't it make you want to just say, I'll take my chances? But you got a 1-score lead, right? You're trusting how your defense is playing.
Shonda Schreiker on to punt. It's a low knuckleball into that wind, and it's going to spin out of bounds. And you see the difference. He had one that ended up being over 50 yards in the other direction. That one, not so much. It'll be about a 25-yarder when all said and done, but no return.
Yeah, so Champlin Park defense does its job, gives its offense pretty good field position right around midfield. See what Champlin Park does. Let's see if they go back to taking a shot down the field. You know, they missed a couple in the last possession. That ball, I think your quarterback's in a pretty good rhythm.
I think they have the right football in there. Might be the, yeah. So now we get things situated for the Rebels. Empty backfield. Fitzgerald, a great runner. They might spread it out and get him a run opportunity as well. Going to shovel it out here to Hammonds instead. Evan Hammonds, and he is chased down. Good pursuit there and closing by Connor Schustad.
Yeah, really not much there. Just saying, here, Evan Hammonds, here's the ball. Just beat whoever's out there to the edge. And Hammonds with that great speed, able to get to the outside and pick up about 6.
Yeah, it was a nice job on the tackle, but yeah, you're right. He's still able to get 6. I know when you think about it, that kind of reminds you of a youth football play. Like, we got this really fast guy. We're just going to give him a little toss and see what you can go and get. Yeah,
Hammonds, I bet, was a great youth football running back.
2nd and 4. It's dropped by Shipman and recovered by the Eagles. And still on his feet is Fredheim before he is thrown down. As the turnover bug biting Champlin Park again. Fredheim has had himself quite a first half.
Yes, he has. Some great tackles, caught a touchdown that time, great recovery. And didn't just land on it, able to pick it up and advance it too. Yeah, you can see never really had a chance. Great hand-eye coordination too by Fredheim, and able to get some positive yards outside of it. 2nd turnover, 2nd fumble for the Champlin Park offense.
And I think he thought, I'm still going to go somewhere. And then Aiden Chisel, a 250-pounder, made him pay at the end. Here's Carlson lowering the shoulder into Hammonds and picking up a decent gainer on first down. Carlson, you think more of shifty and speedy, but that time he saw Hammonds coming at him and met him with the shoulder there.
And it might not seem important on that, Jay, but I'll tell you, as a defender, when a running back does that and surprises you like that, you think twice about hitting him as hard later in the game. So sometimes when running backs show that power, it might not seem big, but they're big deals.
This time stacked up, and Carlson not much of a gainer, if anything, there for the Eagles. Bring up a 3rd and about 5 here. We're just over 2.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. And Totino-Grace leading it by a score of 14-7. A lot of fireworks early, and then things have settled down a little bit. Kolkowski getting the play from the sideline here. Probably in 4-down territory, you'd certainly think here. And he throws for the big tight end, Alt, trying to reach for that first down, and he's going to be very close. It will be a first down.
Well, you can't ask for a better target for a quarterback. 6'8", Joe Alt got those good hands, and really actually a great tackle. You can see they went low on him right away. he couldn't tackle any better, but when you got that power, just leaning forward, able to pick up the first down.
Kai Frobenius showing good judgment by not trying to go up high on Mr. Alt there, and he did get him down, but it is a first down. And all obviously with that long reach, too, where you stuck the ball out and got just enough for the first down. So at the 32 of Champlin Park, and we'll get a whistle, I think a timeout requested here right before the play. And Grace will use that timeout. Time's starting to become a little bit of an issue. A minute 32 to go here before the half. I mean, they've certainly got time, but at the same time, you know, if you're running plays where you're getting tackled in the field that isn't a first down, you got to kind of be picking up the tempo to get up there. They would love to take this down to the end of the half and score right before halftime here. It would kind of feel like a double whammy on Champlin Park.
Well, and then the big thing is turnovers, right? Turnovers can swing the outcomes of games, obviously, and if they're able to capitalize on this, that'd be 14 points off of 2 turnovers by Champlin Park. So got a great position here, got good field position, still plenty of time. But to your point, you want to make sure you get the right play calls in. Maybe get 2 plays called at the same time so you can do a little bit of hurry-up offense as well.
We remind you of our CCX Sports Play of the Week as it's coming back this fall as we kind of got into the fall season late, obviously, with all the COVID situation. And ccxmedia.org, the place to find. Each Monday we put up new plays and you, the viewers, decide. We've had some great response, a lot of votes, highest numbers that we've had, and urge you to check that out each week. You never know, we might see a play from this game. And Cooper drops it, and it's going to be recovered by Hammonds of Champlin Park. Cameron Hammonds getting on that one. Well, just after the Eagles had the fumble recovery, they turn it over, and Champlin Park will get the football back.
Just like we saw Totino-Grace earlier on their recovery, just great effort by Hammonds. It looked like Totino-Grace was going to be able to recover that. You see this ball on the ground. Cooper trying to pick it up, but look at, just shot out of a rocket was Cameron Hammonds. Watch him fly into your screen to get on this ball. That's just a great nose for the football right there. Great effort.
Looked like Kolakowski actually kind of bumped into Cooper. The mesh point wasn't really there.
Smooth.
You talked earlier about timing on plays like that being, you know, so important. Fitzgerald hit as he throws, and it's up for grabs, and it'll fall incomplete as Schusted kind of had trouble tracking it over the shoulder there. He might have been able to pick that one off. Oh, we got an injured Rebel here behind the play as well. One of their linemen is not feeling the greatest at the moment. It's a lobby.
See him holding that knee, and you already see a big brace on that right knee.
Yeah, the pressure got there. Fitzgerald, this throw was definitely impacted by him just getting hit as he's about to release it there, or right as he released it by Mason Molitor. And they fell. Yeah, that's what you figured on that kind of play. Fell into the knee. Those most of the time when linemen get hurt, it seems like it's
someone's
that
rolling
type of
up on their leg.
situation.
Yep, you hate to see that.
And it's a type of play that, you know, it's hard to avoid. I mean, what else are you going to do? You're blocking. Let's go down to Allie.
He was actually hurt on that Shipman fumble. We were all watching something else, so we didn't really realize he was slow to get up on that play. He ended up limping over to the sidelines. I was paying attention to see if he was going to come back out on defense, and you see he tried, but we'll keep an eye on him and see if his return at this point is questionable.
Thanks, Allie, and let's hope that Emmanuel's going to be all right here. 2nd down and 10 here for the Rebels. 1:22 to go before halftime. Fitzgerald looking to the air, throwing, and it is dropped. As that one seemed to be a gift there for Spencer, but he couldn't quite come up with it.
Well, that's what you got to be careful of. There's still, plenty of time. You throw a pick like that right at midfield, then you give Totino-Grace another chance before halftime. But I'll tell you, that's one thing as a defender. When you got a quarterback staring at that receiver for that long, Usually not a good thing. Ball a little bit overthrown and right in the hands of
Spencer would look. It kind of goes back to what you said on that touchdown catch. Sometimes those kind almost are harder when it seems so obvious that it's coming right to you.
Well, if he catches that, he's got a lot of green grass in front of him too. So wouldn't be surprised to see Champlin put the ball on the ground here and maybe try to run some clock, force Totino to call a timeout.
3rd and 10. Fitzgerald chased out of there. Now throws and completes it. And that'll be down to the 40-yard line as Bowler-Inwa getting the catch. Fitzgerald doing a nice job improvising that time, and he'll get about 21 out of it.
That was just a great play by Fitzgerald. Looked like he was going to tuck it and run. And I think in turn the defense kind of came up to tackle him, and he at the last second, great patience, found his guy in the big-time play.
So they go to the Eagles 40 as the complexion flips back now where Champlin Park's thinking about we've got time to score here. Rush coming and in and out of the hands there of Schmitz as he was being jostled from behind there and couldn't quite bring it in.
I think R.J. Spencer that time, great coverage. And Schmitz definitely, he had his hands on it, but watch Spencer's arms behind him try to rip this away right there, not allowing that right arm to kind of come up and grab that ball. So just a defensive back not giving up on the play. And again, another catchable ball by Champlin Park, not helping out their quarterback.
Bring up 2nd down and 10 here for the Rebels. About 50 seconds remaining. Oops.
No.
Throwing here, and that one is dropped. And
was that not a penalty?
Yeah, Bowler-Inwa turned upfield on that, I thought for sure. And that's what Coach is saying on the Grace sideline. How do you not call that a penalty? And maybe it was kind of karma there that they didn't complete that one.
But again, another drop. Again, a catchable ball. But yeah, anytime someone's in motion, Jay, they got to stay in that straight line. If they turn and go up the field like that before the ball is snapped, that should be usually a legal procedure, illegal motion, but not called. That would have been a 1st down too on that catch.
3rd and 10 now for Champlin Park. Grace is doing a nice job too, mixing up their coverages a little bit. Sometimes they're up real tight, other times not. Here's a throw over the middle, and it's complete to Hammonds. Evan Hammonds works his way inside the 10-yard line before Fredheim can bring him down, and back and forth it goes just when you think like, okay, this drive's faltering here. Now they complete one for about 30.
Well, just great trajectory on this pass. Watch this ball hang in the air just over the outstretched arms of Collins. And that is not an easy throw. You got to get it over those linebackers, but you can't let it hang too much because safeties will come up and make that play. And Hammonds, not a big target, 5'5", so just a perfectly thrown ball. Great touch. Getting that down, 3rd down and 10, the big conversion. Now you got 1st and goal at the 9-yard line. Yeah, just when it looks about 3 times on this drive, it looks like, all right, Champlin Park doesn't have anything really going for them, and here they are. Converted a couple of big 3rd downs, and again, watch this ball just hang in the air, just perfectly timed. I think the other thing too, Champlin Park, you've given your quarterback a great pocket too. He hasn't been pressured, and he does a nice job of stepping up in his throws. Wouldn't be surprised to see a halftime adjustment as Totino-Grace maybe start coming with some pressure and not allowing Cade Fitzgerald to have that much time back there.
So 1st and goal here for the Rebels. Fitzgerald sprinting out to the left. Now dumps the pass off, and it is complete for the touchdown. It's Evan Hammonds again for the Rebels, and they're now to within 1.
Well, what a great play call, but what a tough play to execute too as a quarterback. Fitzgerald sprints to his left. You got to throw across your body like that, and I know, again, we talked about his accuracy being a question mark coming into the game, but he has put the ball on the money tonight. And that one perfectly thrown. What a drive, what a response here for the Rebels.
Boy, they had fumbled it away, and it looked like Grace might be able to have a chance to score before half, and then they turn around and fumble it back. And then
you got to remember, one or two dropped interceptions, too, on that drive. But Champlin Park just clinging to it, able to tie this game up.
Rasmussen Deo able to punch it through again here for Champlin Park, and we're even at 14. A little rub there.
So they're going 3 receivers to that left side. The 2 outside guys are coming in, and Hammonds is coming out. And just a little bit of rub action. It buys him a step or 2 on the defender. And again, not an easy throw. You got a defender in your face, sprinting to your left, but he put it right on the money.
So a 14-14 tie here as we tick down toward halftime, and yeah, big swing of events there as we talked about it. Totino-Grace had the football seemingly in a spot where they were going to be threatening to score.
Well, we knew we were going to see some great running backs, but I bet you didn't think we were going to have 3 of the 4 touchdowns be passing touchdowns here in the first half.
Well, and actually all 4 of them would be, because
I guess, the
little
right.
shovel pass counts as a pass.
You are absolutely right.
See what they do now with this kickoff, if they try and put it on the ground to keep it away from any kind of big return.
You can see Schustad, I think, is thinking about that pass that was down the middle that he might have had a chance to intercept, knowing that that might have been able to change the outcome of that drive.
With a high short kick. And here comes Carlson up the middle. Look out, Carlson on the move. One guy with a chance, and he's going to escape that tackle, and it is a touchdown. Hunter Carlson, how's that for an answer?
Well, you want to get your playmakers a chance to make plays, so you put him on kickoff return, and I'll tell you, he's got that great speed. If you don't hit him early, it just kind of builds that speed up as he gets going, and so slick. A couple of nice cutbacks, and great job making people miss, and just kind of ran away from the defender there the last 30 yards. And Nick Keenan, he said special teams are a big part of their game and what they need to work on, and here you give up a big touchdown kickoff return.
Loger on for the extra point, and it is good. So both kickers have been solid on the extra points tonight. And Carlson returning it for a score for the Eagles, 21-14. And we were talking about how I thought they were kicking it short and high to give their coverage team a better chance, and it didn't work out.
No, and I wonder if they even noticed that Carlson was back there receiving, because maybe you just kick it on the ground to someone else and give them decent field position. But great blocking. But
yeah, he was untouched until the last guy here.
And just those subtle cutbacks where he kind of maintains that distance away from the tackler. But I mean, just great vision, great blocking, no holding either. Right there, it looked like he might have got caught, but then look at him come back to his left side right there. And then he just runs away from it.
Yeah, and really, I think he kind of has deceptive speed, because even in the middle of that group there, when it was happening live, I thought, well, it's going to be a good return, but I didn't think he was going to go by everyone like that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if Totino-Grace has learned a lesson from the other way and not going to kick this ball deep. And they will indeed squib it on the ground. It does take a high bounce. Cam Hammond slips though, and down he goes. And 17 seconds will be all that remain here for Champlin Park.
Well, do you take a shot down the field? The way this game has gone, it wouldn't surprise me.
A couple touchdowns here in the last minute of this first half. Shipman in the backfield behind Fitzgerald. A couple of receivers each side here for the Rebels. Fitzgerald is going to go deep with it down that right sideline and just incomplete. Pretty well covered there, but they actually had a shot there to sneak that one into Julius Zinna.
Yeah, pretty nice thrown ball. Zinna got a step on him too, and if he gets a half a step and can get both hands on that ball, he might catch that in stride. If you're Totino-Grace right now, you're just thinking keep everything in front of you. Nothing deep, nothing over the top. But Champlin Park very close to hitting another home run here before halftime.
Yeah, well worth that shot.
Yep.
They did a good job of recognizing where the single coverage was going to be. And I wouldn't bet against seeing something similar again. Fitzgerald this time going to swing that pass out in the flat to Hammonds. And he get up the sideline as much as he can and then hop out of bounds. It's about 7, it looks like. So, barring a penalty, this will probably be the last play of the half coming up here. Eagles kind of discussing among themselves in the secondary. Let's make sure we know
where everyone is.
Yeah,
no breakdowns.
Nobody
nothing
behind you here. Even a 30 or 40 yard gain doesn't hurt you. It just can't get to the end zone. Fitzgerald throwing it up down that right side, and again they had a little space looking for Hammonds. Actually, that play did not eat up the rest of the time, however. We're going to have one more opportunity. Seemed like hard to imagine that play wouldn't have taken longer than 4 seconds, but Grace can't complain though. It's their own home clock operator, so. Be a 4th down play here, but that is pretty much irrelevant with only 1.2 seconds to go. Fitzgerald chased out of there and then tripped up. Caught from behind on the sack there.
Thomas, great job, yeah. And really the first time tonight we've seen Fitzgerald under pressure, not having time to allow those routes to develop. I think that's something Totino-Grace is going to look at in the second half. How can we get a little bit more quarterback pressure, not allow him to develop those longer passing routes?
So fireworks late in that second quarter as you got the Champlin Park touchdown pass to Hammonds, followed up by the kick return for Hunter Carlson to give the Eagles the lead back at 21-14 heading into this halftime. And we kind of thought it had a chance to be a pretty even game coming in, and that's very much how it's shaping up so far here.
Yeah.
Not necessarily all the points coming in the fashion you might think they would with all the touchdown passes, but see both these teams not heading, that's a new factor this year, you're not heading into a locker room or a team room kind of situation. Most of the time when the weather's been decent, they're just hanging out either on the sideline or down the end zone, something like that. And even, sometimes going into smaller groups, meeting offense, defense, whatnot too.
Yeah. Well, I like just the fight on both teams, right? I mean, kind of a game of momentum. Totino-Grace early up 14-0, kind of looked like they might run away with it, and then Champlin Park answered with that long touchdown pass and got the momentum back, 14-14, and then Totino answers on that great kickoff return by Hunter Carlson.
Let's go down to Allie now with Coach Keenan from Champlin Park.
Coach, some costly turnovers in that first half, some costly mistakes. This score could be pretty different. What did you see in the first half that you want to change for the second?
Yeah, turnovers for sure. I mean, we think defensively we've given up one play, you know? Otherwise, again, turnovers that have plagued us throughout the season this year, and that stuff's got to change. We have drop balls at the receivers. You know, we didn't kick it where we wanted to kick it on that kickoff too. It's a little disappointing, but you know, we feel confident and we got to hold on to the ball.
What about your offensive line? You were talking about it before the game. You want to see them come with a lot more physicality. Did you see that in the first?
Yeah, after the first drive especially, then we kind of turned it around and started running the ball like we wanted to, but you know, they're stacking the box, so we're going to have to throw the ball every once in a while.
Coach, what's the message to the team in the half? Because you guys have spurts of momentum, but sometimes they're hard to hold on to.
Yeah, we're hoping, you know, just to take what happened in the first half there. I mean, because they jumped out to a 14-point lead pretty much on our mistakes. One bad play on defense. You know, we came roaring back, and then that kick return. So, you know, we're just going to have to keep doing what we're doing, and just the mistakes have got to stop. I don't know what else to say. That's what I just talked to the team about, but you know, this is varsity football now. We need to catch the ball. We need to hold on to the ball.
Coach, thanks for talking all the way over. Guys.
Thanks, Allie, and thanks to Coach Keenan. We appreciate his time, and as Allie said, for making his way across the field to help us out as well. We will come back with more football in a moment. 21-14, Totino-Grace leading Champlin Park at halftime.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Roku and Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You also have access to a large on-demand library, including daily newscasts and full sporting events. To find the app, go to the store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. Now available on Roku and Apple TV.
Beautiful night for football here. That might be changing again next week the way it sounds, but a 21-14 lead for Totino-Grace over Champlin Park. And it was an interesting first half. Some big plays kind of back and forth as we check out highlights from that opening half. Starting with a little shovel pass here to the great back Hunter Carlson for Totino-Grace, and he popped it for 45 yards and a touchdown midway through that first quarter as they kind of used him in a couple different ways, some new wrinkles. And then defensively, Cooper coming up with a nice hit there. Rebels struggling a little bit and coughed it up here.
Great recovery by Mason Molitor too on that play, and that set up this misdirection play action, easy touchdown throw to Sam Freidem. Beautiful play.
Rebels coming back. This one was really turned them around as Okansi got behind the defensive backs. 83 yards later, he's in the end zone as Fitzgerald. I think that really helped his confidence and kind of got their team going after a very sluggish start. And then they had a fumble that coughed it up there. Fredheim making the recovery for Totino-Grace.
And it looked like Totino-Grace might pull ahead in big score, and then they next couple plays, fumble right back. Champlin Park gets it, and it set up one of their drives as well.
Yeah, Hammonds with a nice recovery there, and then the throw on the run, and it's his brother, Evan Hammonds, catching that touchdown pass. But immediately after that, they kicked it off to Carlson, and maybe wish they hadn't, as he winds up in the end zone here on a great run back with just 21 seconds left in the half.
Well, you said it. He just looks so smooth, like he's effortless when he's running, but he's got great speed and just great vision, able to pull away there late, the last 30, 40 yards, and a big score right before half.
You see the stats, and they're kind of lopsided in the Rebels' favor in large part because some of those plays, the kick return being the biggest one, happening on special teams, so it doesn't show up in the regular offensive set. In a lot of ways, Champlin Park has actually probably been more consistent with their offense, but they've just had some key mistakes that have hurt them. A couple of turnovers in particular, as Coach Keenan said. Also, no penalties for Totino-Grace in that first half, whereas the Rebels took 4, so that's not helping their cause.
Yeah, turnovers and points off of turnovers were critical. I think, too, it's Champlin Park going to still have success throwing the football in the second half. And can the receivers help their quarterback out, hang on to that football? That'll be interesting to see here as we start the second half.
So we will take a quick time out here and come back to Totino-Grace in just a moment. Welcome back here to Grace. Let's go down now to Allie with Coach Anderson.
Coach, how much energy did that last Carlson touchdown going into half bring your team, getting you geared up for the second?
Oh, that was a big play. We were down a little bit, right? They kind of hit us in the mouth a few times, and that was a huge momentum swing going into the second half. So that was a blessing, yeah.
You said before the game it's very important to minimize mistakes because it's going to come down to 5 plays in this game. What do you see happening here for the second half that you want to see out of your team?
Well, same thing. There's a lot of huge plays in the first half. If we can minimize our mistakes, make a few big plays, we're going to come out on top. But that team over there is pretty explosive. And so we're going to play great defense and control the football in the second half.
Offensively, who do you want to see stand out in the second out of your squad?
Excuse me?
Who do you want to see stand out offensively in the second half for your team?
Our whole team, right? It's going to be a team effort. We're all going to have to collectively come together, and guys are going to have to make plays, all of us.
Thanks so much for your time, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Allie, and thanks to Coach Anderson. We'll take a timeout and come back with the third quarter of football here on CCX.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Roku and Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You'll also have access to a large on-demand library, including daily newscasts and full sporting events. To find the app, go to the store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. Now available on Roku and Apple TV.
Had some good plays, some big plays in that first half. As saw a little montage here. 21-14, Totino-Grace leading Champlin Park as we head into quarter number 3. And mistakes at key times have been a factor, but also just, you know, as Coach Anderson said there, you kind of tip your hat to a couple of the big playmakers on the other team that have done some good things as well.
Well, I think really impressive was that second touchdown drive of the Rebels. Remember, it was third and long about 3 or 4 times on that drive, and they converted. I'll tell you, being in the Prep Bowl, you know, you got a lot of players that played a critical role on that team, just knowing how to win and how to hang in games. That's been big here for Champlin Park.
Fielded by Diazwin Cooper here for Totino-Grace, and we saw, as we kind of expected on that kickoff return that Carlson had, that coach said that wasn't exactly where we were intending to kick the ball, so a little bit different look this time.
Well, he's just one of those players, whenever he touches it, you get the feeling it could go for a big play. So if you could avoid kicking to him at all costs, I think you do it.
So Grace gets the football at the 35-yard line to begin quarter number 3, leading it by a touchdown.
Yeah, I always love seeing right out of halftime kind of what adjustments coaches were talking about, and see who adjusts to those adjustments as well.
We've got Carlson out in the slot to the left with Deesman Cooper in the backfield. Cooper's going to take the handoff here, slip through the first wave, but then not able to get away fully there as he was being held onto there for the Rebels by Walker, or check that, Ty Givens, who has got the big wrap on the right arm there.
Well, Cooper, I mean, he would be a number 1 back for quite a few high school football teams. He's got big, strong legs. You can see he's not easy to bring down. The club right there.
Carlson takes the handoff here, got a good block. Oh, and then he's tripped up. He'll get the first down. That one had a chance to go for quite a bit more. Nice seal block on the edge. And then I think he tripped over his own guy. Yeah, he did.
Yep. Michael Herong downfield block and trying to open up more holes and just got tripped up. You can see Carlson frustrated because that could have gone for even more.
Hey, he's been every bit as impressive as his stats look coming into this game. I think he's very shifty. Ooh, made a nice cut there, but then also took a good hit as Givens stayed with him.
Yeah, I tell you, it's before that. It's right there. That cut, that jump cut, is something you can't necessarily teach. And there's a great hit there. Right, but a lot of running backs don't do that, and they run right into the contact. He's just got that great balance, great rhythm to his running as well. Fun to watch.
Second and 7, high snap, but Carlson does get it. He'll spill forward to about the 45-yard line there, as they held him pretty well in check as a runner in the first half, but he was great as a receiver and as a return man.
Well, that shovel pass again, like you said, counts as a pass, and then he also had another reception that went for quite a few yards, and of course the long kickoff return. So he's found other ways to impact this game, no question about it.
There you see in the middle, Mike Corton is back as a offensive line coach for Champlin Park this year. He was only away 1 year after stepping down as head coach. And we saw him in that halftime piece, of course. He was the second head coach in Rebels history. Carlson will pick up the first down with ease here for Grace down near the 30.
Well, again, third down, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, just trusting your running game. And a great job on that left side of the line of scrimmage, just sealing the edge, and an easy run for Hunter Carlson.
Yeah, they're doing a nice job of getting the right angles on their blocks. Doesn't it seem like, they're not just knocking people off the ball necessarily, but they're sealing the edge. They're using the leverage the way they should be. From the 32, it is Cooper taking the handoff this time. Trying to rip the football out. He'll pick up about 4 or so.
Well, and I think, too, when you watch, like Dalvin Cook for the Vikings, for example, it's great synchrony between a running back and his offensive line. When they trust where you're going to be and you know where they're going to block, it's a beautiful thing to watch. And it's a trust that gets built up over time between great running backs and their offensive line.
Going with Max Hofschulte back in there at a more of a fullback spot, and he catches the pass. Miles running him down, but it looks like it may be enough for another first down here for Totino-Grace, and will be.
Well, just a nice rhythm throw right there, a little play action, easy throw for a quarterback. And again, nice job, nice route, and it picks up a first down. And again, you don't need huge plays and big chunks in the passing game, but just enough to keep a defense off balance, not knowing what to expect.
Max goes 6'3", 225, kind of a fullback, H-back kind of guy. Handoff here to Carlson. And that time stacked up, but he'll still get about 3. And that's, when your offensive line is working the way it is, even a play that, didn't seem to amount to much is still a decent gainer to get your sequence started.
Well, and the other thing, too, is he's shown the ability that any play can turn into a home run. So you got to keep feeding him. And you might get 3 or 4 plays like that, but all of a sudden you'll get one where he makes a jump cut and he's onto that second level of a defense.
They'll call it just a gain of 2 there. 2nd down and 8 now for the Eagles. Back to Carlson. Almost snuck through that wave, but good strength to hang on to him there. As I think it was Hansen who had the most of that wrap up there for CP.
Well, keep in mind, too, Krzysztof Kolakowski, he's a very capable quarterback, and you get the feeling they're setting up something down the road, right? Feeding Carlson as much as they are, defense collapsing, that at some point, maybe a 3rd down conversion or 4th down later in the game, they're going to go to a play action, and it might be there.
3rd down and 5. They go to Carlson here, shakes a tackle, and
nice
they
tackle.
cannot get by the next, though, as Cam Hammonds and the Rebels say the ball's loose. And the officials conferring, I think they're going to say he was down, yes. Cam Hammonds submarining low, took Carlson's legs out. See when this ball comes out.
Well, nice job making the guy miss there, and just a great tackle. I mean, that is just an unbelievable tackle. Not easy to do on a running back that's making you miss like that. You can see definitely down, elbow down. But what a tackle by Hammonds. That's not easy to do. You got a guy in open space like that making moves to go that low.
Yeah, once he got by the first tackle attempt of Sanders, I thought he was going to have the first down there, but Hammonds did a heck of a job. I think the right call, seeing it again, though, that his elbow did hit the ground, and he still had possession. It'll be 4th and about 3 here for the Eagles, and they are indeed going to go for it here. And I think we might have a timeout taken before. Yep, Grace will take a timeout here to discuss this one, make sure they're all on the same page. It looked like they were a little slow starting to get things in.
Well, and I think, too, recognizing you're up 1 score, if you can convert this, march down, and go up 2 scores, you kind of set the tone for the second half. So recognizing how important this conversion is.
Yeah, and with high school, 12-minute quarters and everything, it's already halfway through this quarter. You're right. This feels like a very important possession for them, and I'm not surprised that they use a timeout there just to give everybody an opportunity to kind of take a breath and make sure that they're on the same page.
Well, and keep in mind, too, 4th and short, they've gone to the run. They've trusted Hunter Carlson in the running game, and on that last play, they did not have number 16, Joe Alt, the big tight end, in the game. He's been a massive run blocker. Now they got him lined up at right tight end. Let's see if they go and run the ball right behind him.
4th and 4. Kolakowski throwing it into traffic, and it is incomplete. Cooper was the intended receiver. O'Cansey and Hammonds really had him blanketed, though. Not much chance to get that one in.
No, surprising. You don't go to your running back there. They take a shot down the field and, again, fooled no one. Look at it, very well defended.
Considering it's 4th down, taking a shot there I don't think was a bad play, but I think he probably should have looked elsewhere. That receiver was very well covered all the way throughout that play.
And I will give Champlin Park's defense credit too, Jay. They've put pressure on Kolakowski when he has dropped back. You saw he had a defender in his grill as he threw that as well. So not giving him a whole lot of time back there to really look at who's open.
I think some credit for Hayden Sanders there for pulling up too. You don't want to risk giving them a cheap first down with a 15-yarder.
Yep.
Completion here to Meyer Schmitz. Good way to start the drive here for Champlin Park. They will be short of the first down, but not by a whole lot.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, that's a good confidence builder for your quarterback and also for your receiver. Schmitz dropped a couple there in the first half. That time you give him an easy throw, and anytime you can get 8-9 yards on first down, that's a win.
Fake it to Shipman. Fitzgerald keeping it. Got away from Fredheim. And he will be brought down at the 30 as he picks up the first down. And I think, like you were talking about in the first half, finding different ways to get away from just handing it off all the time to Shipman is important for them.
Well, and you can see right there, Mason Molitor, who's had a great game, number 47 as a defensive end, he is coming down the line of scrimmage trying to tackle Shipman, and I love that call. I thought if that play's going to be there, not too often, but once in a while, especially if Shipman's able to run the ball effectively.
At the 31, new set of downs here for the Rebels. Now they come back to Shipman into the secondary. He goes. Shipman keeps the legs driving and brought down just into Totino-Grace territory. He'll pick up 20 on the play, and Shipman a little slow to get up, it looks like.
Yeah, I could tell on the end of that run, something happened to that right leg. Not a good sign if you're a Rebel fan.
The field is actually in quite good shape. Obviously we had a bunch of snow. They, in fact, were supposed to have a home game against Osseo. They got moved to Osseo because the field was so covered. But it did kind of look like maybe his cleat dug into the ground and he twisted something there as he tried to make that cut. Champlin Park, of course, still plays on grass field, too. There doesn't seem like there's all that many that do anymore.
Watch the end of this run. You can kind of tell. Right there, you see him just not able to push off.
Yeah, might have been the ankle, it looked like.
That's kind of been the one thing Sean Shipman's had to deal with his whole career is just kind of nothing necessarily major, but just some nagging injuries that really have prevented him from always being at his 100% best.
And as I mentioned earlier in the game, they have another really good back in Darius Givens, who is out for the season with an injury. He was going to be used extensively as a fullback with Shipman or also just as the running back to spell Shipman, it sounded like, coming into the season. So unfortunately, he not going to be in. It looks like Shipman is going to have to be helped off.
Hate to see that.
Well, we've got more football next week with both of these teams will be on again on CCX. First of all, a good volleyball matchup with Champlin Park and Osseo, and then we got Rebels football hosting Maple Grove Wednesday, then an afternoon and Thursday game, BC against Henry, and then this Grace team playing Creighton-Durham Hall next Friday. And now we've got a flag flying here as the Rebels will be penalized for a false start.
Well, keep in mind, too, they had a nice rhythm going on that drive, and Shipman breaking that long run and not having Shipman back there, I think is going to allow them to really focus maybe a little bit more on Cade Fitzgerald and stopping the passing game. So we'll see how Champlin Park's able to respond. Obviously, don't want to get a false start and move backwards.
1st and 15 as they tend to Shipman here. J.J. Robinson is the back now, and he'll take the handoff and got most of the penalty yardage back. He'll pick up about 4.
Well, J.J. looks, 5'11", 5'10", 205 pounds, looks strong, well built. You can tell he's got a burst of speed as well, so he's going to get his chance here to get some carries and really make a mark.
2nd and 11 now for Champlin Park as they try and drive and tie things up here. They down 21-14. High snap, Fitzgerald fakes the handoff and will keep it, and look out. Fredheim up high and down low was Molitor for the stop there. Not sure if he was hoping to hand this off and just didn't because of the high snap, or if he intended to keep it anyway, or kind of a read option there.
And the difference is, and I hate to say it, but, just not having Shipman in there, just no one buys, completely buys into that play action, that fake. And that's the value of having a guy like that who's explosive. And not to say that J.J. Robinson can't be explosive, but they haven't seen it, so they just don't buy into it as well. And now you're back in that 3rd and long.
3rd and about 14 here for Champlin Park. A promising drive now in some trouble. Fitzgerald rolling right. He's going to tuck it. And Fredheim lowers the boom on him. Fitzgerald, just as he was heading upfield, I don't think saw him as Fredheim came off a block and rocked him pretty good.
Yeah, you could tell Fitzgerald wanted to turn this up the field, and a nice job getting off the block. And I'll tell you what, if we had most outstanding player, you could obviously make a case for Hunter Carlson and the impact he's had, but Fredheim, too, has just had a monstrous game on both sides of the football.
Miles on to kick, not a very good snap. Oh, and he just got it out of there and did a good job to do so. Fair catch made. That was like a one-step punt. He didn't really get to step into that one, and he knew he had to get rid of it.
And he did that in the first half, too. He got rid of the ball really quick. You could see he's still close to being blocked. Great job getting rid of that. And actually got off a pretty good punt, too.
Interesting setup. The Rebels have, probably about 900 pounds of beef back there as protectors, and yet they still almost got around him. Actually, I may be selling him short with 900. I think it was more. 3 very large young men were there to block in front of him. Grace gets the football back at their 23-yard line. So maybe not quite as good a field position as they thought they might get, but still happy to get the stop. Here's Carlson, and he is wrapped up. Hansen hanging on along with Nichols.
I'll tell you what, I like how Champlin Park is slowing the running game down with Hunter Carlson. They're not shutting him down, but they're limiting him to 2, 3, 4 yards. And I think they got to sell out and stop that and try to make Kolakowski beat them in the air in the passing game.
Got about 2 there. Yeah, overall it's funny because, like we were saying earlier, the impact Carlson's had on the game has generally not been as a running back. He's had an 11 and a 13 and has run well, but just not racking up the kind of yardage that he's been accustomed to this year. Only got about a yard there, and 3 Rebels in on the stop. You like to see that too. I mean, when you're getting more than one guy to the ball and they're breaking things down and getting involved in tackles, it's kind of shows a good sign for your defense. Coach Keenan, more of a defensive coach in their program. Under a minute to go now here in this third quarter, and a 3rd and 7 coming up.
Well, keep in mind, too, they've done a nice job of bringing pressure and not letting Krzysztof Kolakowski have time to set up and passing play. But also remember, Carlson's a very good pass-catching running back, too.
Rush coming. Kolakowski steps around and got through it, and he will have the first down and more. Not nearly as fast a quarterback as Fitzgerald, but a lot bigger, and he was able to step through. I thought they had him dead to rights there for a sack.
Well, that's what you want to see, an experienced quarterback like that. You feel the pocket kind of crumbling around you. You got to step up. Watch him step up here, and I thought right there he was down, but kept those legs, see those high knees to get out of that, and not known as a great running quarterback, but great presence, and did the job there, a big time conversion.
And really, if you're the Rebels coaches there, you're looking at that film, they really should have had that tackle.
Yeah, that's when you're going to look back and be like, we had to have had that sack.
Now from the 45, handoff to Carlson. Carlson breaking free. Cam Hammond's got him down. Hammond's paid the price, so I think he's shaken up a little bit. As that was a big-time collision, and it looks like he might be reaching for the shoulder or up, maybe collarbone area.
Anyone who thinks they don't hit at the high school football level, you watch this game, you can tell in an instant there's some big-time hitting going on by both teams.
There's Shipman already out injured, and now another key playmaker for the Rebels is down on the field is Cam Hammonds.
You get those shoulders. Sometimes you get that stinger where it's going down your arm like that.
See if we can see as he comes up to make that hit.
That left shoulder.
Ooh, and they almost look like they hit head to head there a little bit too. We talked about how, not big on the field, but big impact, both he and his brother Evan.
Well, they've done a great job of coming up and making tackles, great tackles in space against Hunter Carlson, which is not an easy thing. The good news is it looks like it's more of a shoulder, not a head injury necessarily.
And Cam Hammond's able to get up and make his way off the field, which is good to see. But the injuries kind of continue to mount here for Champlin Park. We said already coming into the game they had far more than they would like.
Would you say 5 starters out today with injury, and there's 2 more, and not just any two big parts of their team, obviously, in Hammonds and of course with Shipman.
2nd and 1. The Eagles don't have to snap it here as they restart the clock, and I think they're just going to let it tick down to the end of the quarter. And this time I'll pay closer attention and make sure it actually is really the end of the quarter, unlike in the first when there was a timeout called and the clock had ticked to 0, but it actually had been stopped right before it to force a punt into the wind. We have reached the end of 3 here. No scoring in that 3rd quarter. And it remains Totino-Grace 21, Champlin Park 14. The 4th is up next here on CCX.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Roku and Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You'll also have access to a large on-demand library, including daily newscasts and full sporting events. To find the app, go to the store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. Now available on Roku and Apple TV.
Big scramble by that guy a moment ago to get them a first down. Krzysztof Kolakowski picking up the nice chunky yardage for the Eagles, a 29-yard run, and they are sitting at 2nd down and 1 now at Champlin Park's 36 as we turn around and begin quarter number 4 here. Grace first home game of this shortened season. Again, they had one scheduled against Osseo here, but had to end up moving it to Osseo because the field was so snow-covered. Back to Carlson on the ground, trying to squirt out of that pile, but was brought down at about the 34, and should be enough for the first down, it would appear. Yes, it will be.
Well, I think now you're to the point, if you're Totino-Grace, of just ball domination, right? Taking care of the football, making sure you're moving the chains and taking the full allotment in between plays, and that clock now becomes one of your allies.
Carlson is now carried it 20 times and also caught a couple of passes, and also, of course, that big kick return, 1st and 10. They fake the handoff. Kolakowski looking deep downfield and coming back to meet it, and getting the catch is Schustad. He'll be brought down short of the end zone as it was a little underthrown with some pressure on, but it's a big completion for Grace.
Well, nice job staying in the pocket by Kolakowski. Again, knowing that pocket was collapsing. And it looked like Frobenius, number 1, fell down here for Champlin Park. Was in pretty good spot. You can see right there just slipping. I think that allowed Schustad to make that catch. But how about your quarterback being tough and staying in there like that?
They go to Carlson, cutting it back and lunges for the end zone, and he's in for the score. We may have a flag down, though, it looks like.
Before the snap there, I think.
Going to be a hold against Totino-Grace.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
So no touchdown for Mr. Carlson there.
Well, those kind of penalties are what drive coaches nuts, right? When you're down at the 4 or 5 yard line like that, you get a good positive surge. Again, well blocked on that right side. Carlson, great footwork, great cut, great patience too, that it's going to come back.
So back out to the 15 now for the Eagles. 1st and goal. To Carlson, has some space, and it's closed down then as he's wrapped up by Bud Stark. Just inside the 10, it looks like, on that gain of about 5. And if they end up scoring here, this might also kind of almost help them to chew up some more time.
Yep.
Not that they would have preferred to have that
Well,
holding
they
penalty,
take another
but
2 or 3 minutes off the clock too, absolutely.
back to Carlson. Nice
Yep.
job by Sanders on a one-on-one stop there.
Let's see, Sanders slow to get up too. You know, that's the other thing about defending a big-time running attack is it wears on you. Every play is physical. No easy passes. Every play you got to take on a good offensive line, and then you got to tackle a really good running back, and it can take its toll on you.
3rd down and goal coming up here for the Eagles. Kolakowski throwing it out to Carlson in the flat, and he'll walk in for the touchdown.
Great play call.
Boy, another job. You just don't see that at the high school level that much, where teams are able to work a running back into the pass game that effectively.
Well, what they did is they ran the receivers nice down the field and towards the middle of the field, and then they send Carlson right out to the flat like that and get him the ball in space. He's normally going to win that race and get into the end zone. Great play design, great execution. And like you've mentioned a couple of times, not so much in the running game, but in the passing game tonight, some big-time plays by Hunter Carlson and by Kolakowski.
Oh, snap is bobbled. Schusted going to try and run for it here.
Oh,
and he will get
Wow.
in. That was not what they had in mind, but it works out in the end. And so their lead will be 29-14.
Well, and just enough. Got a little bit of block by Mason Molitor down the field, number 47. That bought him just enough time. Again, great play design. You see the wide receivers taking those outside linebackers and defensive backs to the middle of the field. Set it up nicely for the flat.
Snap didn't have a lot on it. It still looked like it maybe was catchable, but Schusted, to his credit, didn't panic. He just said, well, I know what I've got to try and do now and get to the end zone, and he did. So Totino-Grace coming up with a big sequence there, and boy, you think back to that when they thought they had Kolakowski sacked, and instead he got out of there for a 29-yard gain. That was arguably as big a play as any on that drive.
Well, and Kolakowski just kind of threw it up there, I think trusting where his receiver was going to be, but stood in there and
so Loger getting set to kick it off here. Rebels down by 2 scores. Got some time, but they're going to need to be efficient. They probably won't get more than a couple more drives left to go here. And it's Okansi on the return this time. Let's go down to Alley.
Yeah, Jay, as you alluded to earlier, Sean Shipman will not be returning back to this game, but I wanted to note this. We saw him help get carried off the field, but once he got to the sidelines, he did put some weight and some pressure on that right ankle, which is now iced up on the sidelines. But once they took off that kind of ankle wrap, he was still able to put pressure on it. So I just wanted to note that because that's so important to really the workhorse of this team.
Thanks, Allie, and let's hope Sean is able to bounce back and maybe able to see some more time this season, if not tonight, it sounds like. So Rebels getting it at the 36-yard line here.
well, down 2 scores, 9 minutes left. You got to start thinking big plays.
Fitzgerald rolling right, looking for a big play here, and a diving try, and it is complete. Evan Hammond's going to the ground to get it.
All we could see is the Totino coaches saying, no, that ball hit the ground, but looked like a little bit underthrown. That ball kind of hung in the air. Remember, they're throwing into the wind. But a nice job by Hammonds coming back to get this ball. Oh, that's a great effort. Oh, I think he
I think he did get under it, yeah.
He closes so fast. We've seen him close tackling that time. He just closed on that ball, made a great catch.
So from the Grace 44, Fitzgerald on the keeper, and he'll pick up at least 6. Well, actually not quite as much as I first thought, more like 5 on the gainer there. See if Fitzgerald will call his own number a little bit more with Shipman out of there.
Well, and you got to get big chunks, but you don't want to force something here and have a turnover, right? You don't need to score in an instant, but you're looking at that clock. You got to, 2 or 3 minutes here. You got to punch it in, and then you need your defense to get a big stop here. But you want to take chances, but you want to take good chances.
Robinson taking the handoff here, bounces.
Nice.
And he'll have the first down for the Rebels.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I do love, Jay, is I see both these teams playing hard, hitting hard, but they're high-fiving each other. They're helping each other up. Both teams, great sportsmanship here tonight. And that's what you love to see. You love to see guys going at it and competing their tails off, but also being really good sports, too. And commend both teams from what I'm seeing here tonight.
From the 32 now, 1st and 10, Champlin Park as they go on the march. Down 29-14, but looking good so far on this drive. Fitzgerald running an option, goes with the pitch out to Hammonds, and he is belted and belted pretty hard there for the Eagles by Collins.
Yeah, we haven't seen that option, but you could tell they had practiced that. That was defended well. They had really both options taken away. They had Fitzgerald if he would have kept it, and as soon as he pitched it, getting that speed of Evan Hammonds, but he had that sideline over there, so he just ran out of some real estate. Well defended, too, by Sean Collins.
Yeah, no gainer on the play. So 2nd and 10. Fitzgerald will hand it off here to Robinson. Ball comes loose late. I think they're going to say he was down. The Eagles did recover, but they're going to say that he was already down. We had one the other way, that call.
That ball was coming out.
Yeah, I think so.
In the referee's defense, where he was standing, he couldn't see it pop out. See, right there, it's already out, but it looks like it comes out right there.
Molitor wrapping him up.
Yeah, Molitor's been great at that defensive end. He's playing right defensive end and has just come down the line of scrimmage numerous times tonight, making plays in the run game.
Fitzgerald under pressure, sprinting out left. Now he'll throw, and he's got a man wide open there. It's Hammonds. Hammonds breaking a tackle and stayed with it, and he'll get all that yardage. He did not go out of bounds. He's down just to about the 12, it looks like.
Well, we talked about Champlin Park maybe being angry. They missed a sack. How about there, too? It looked like Totino-Grace had him dead to rights, but a great job just keeping the play going. And how about Evan Hammonds? It looked like he was going to be out of bounds over there, but somehow stayed in and kept fighting for extra yards. 3rd and 10, you get a big, big conversion.
1st and 10 at the 11 or 12 here. So they can get a first down without scoring. It's not a goal-to-go situation. Fitzgerald throwing it up, jump ball, and incomplete as went for O'Cansey, and Cooper was there defensively.
A pretty good position. That ball a little bit kind of underthrown, and that's where O'Cansey's got to see that a little earlier. Because remember, he's got the advantage of watching the ball. The defender isn't always get his head turned around. He was about a half second late. If he could turn around and come back to that a little bit earlier, might have had an easy catch.
2nd and 10 for Champlin Park. We're just about to the halfway point here of this 4th quarter. They're down by 15. Fitzgerald rolling right. Now throwing on the run, and a great effort by Hammonds, and not quite in bounds.
I'll tell you what, obviously we haven't seen it yet in replay, but what a catch. It even looked like he almost got this down. Oh, boy, that might be a touchdown, Jay.
It's hard to tell for sure if his foot is on the ground.
No, he dragged. That's a touchdown.
Wow, that was close.
What a catch. What a throw, but what a catch. Look at him drag. So right there, he's got possession. You see his left toe is dragging inbounds. Remember, in high school football, you only need 1 foot down. Great job by our cameraman catching that, but that is an unbelievable catch. That should have been a touchdown.
I think that should have been. I agree.
Throw the challenge flag.
3rd and 10. Fitzgerald throwing. It's complete as he's able to find Bowler-Inwa.
I like that play, right? And instead of trying to get it all in the end zone there, you take, positive yards. Now you set up, at the 5-yard line. So you got your whole playbook in play. And you hope for Champlin Park that they score because that last one, seeing that replay and that effort by Evan Hammonds to get that toe down, that was an unbelievable individual effort.
4th down and 4 here for Champlin Park. This is kind of the game to this point. I think if they get a stop here, it's going to be tough. Fitzgerald throwing for O'Cansey. There's a flag down. There's going to be interference on Cooper, I think. Pass fell incomplete, but I believe this is going to be a first down with defensive pass interference. That was the matchup they went to earlier, and O'Cansey wasn't able to fight off the hands of Cooper, but this time Desmond Cooper is going to be called for the penalty.
So remember, that's not a first down.
Oh, you're right.
So it was 4th and 4. So what is it going to be? What were they at, the 5 or the 6-yard line? So is it going to be like 4th and 1? Yeah, definitely some contact there. Yeah, 4th and 1. Now you wonder too, are you going back to throwing or do you try to run this?
Going to be a timeout called. This will be Champlin Park taking the timeout.
I wonder if they had a run called and they saw how many Totino-Grace defenders were in the box there. This is you talk about the game hinging on one play. This really, you've driven this far. You've taken time off the clock. Again, watching that clock tick down, just over 5 minutes left. You got to convert this. You don't need a touchdown. But you got to convert and get the first down here. And this is where not having Sean Shipman in the game, I think, does change things a little bit. Normally, that's a guy you can say, go get us a yard, and more often than not, he's going to do that.
Fitzgerald, keep in mind, is a pretty good runner himself, even though he's not real big. I would not be surprised at all to see him. Well, we'll see here. 4th down and a yard. Fitzgerald's going to throw for it for O'Cansey, and this time he wins the battle with Desmond Cooper. Touchdown, Rebels.
How about the confidence in your quarterback, number one, but also in O'Cansey. They've gone to him twice before that play, just saying, hey, we need a play. And he threw it perfectly, and that time he got his head around and made a play on the ball. Easy throw and catch. That is clutch.
They will go for the kick, the 1-point conversion here. Obviously, the next time around, they would need to go for 2 if they want to tie it up. Yep. They get first things first. They convert here to pull within 29-21. Another look, just that little fade, one-on-one on the outside, and that time O'Cansey winning the battle.
Yeah, and Cooper was in a good spot. It almost looked like he mistimed his jump and left a little bit early before realizing where the location of that ball was. That's a gutsy play call, and then Champlin Park gets rewarded, trusting their quarterback and their receiver to just go make a play.
Yeah, I thought once it got to 4th and 1 that we were going to see them run that and just try and pick up the first down, but...
Well, the other thing, too, they run out a shotgun every time. And when you're playing against quick defensive linemen, that allows them to get into that backfield, right, as opposed to taking a quarterback sneak under center.
So we've got 5:17 to go here. Champlin Park, see what they do kickoff-wise here. It's too early to be thinking, needing an onside kick or anything like that, but you don't want to kick it to Carlson, I'm guessing.
I was just going to say, you got to remember, last time Champlin Park was making a run, Carlson got the kickoff and took it to the house. So you definitely want to avoid kicking to number 22.
It is going to go to him, though, on the 19-yard line, and up the middle they come. This time the Rebels will get a stop, although it is all the way out to the 40. So a big sequence for both teams coming up here. The Eagles would love to grind some clock and drive the ball down the field, even if they don't score again, just to kind of preserve a W for them. But Rebels, if you get a quick 3 and out here, you're still very much in business.
Yep, 2 timeouts left. So you don't have to start using them yet, but you don't want to give up a first down. You want to try to win first down here, see if you can get, a loss on the play. You want to get your offense plenty of time.
Handoff goes to Carlson, squirting up the middle. They tried to rip the ball out, but didn't quite get it done, and he'll pick up about a dozen and a first down. And now we've got an injury, or 2 injuries for Champlin Park.
Yeah, and getting extremely well blocked, good patience that time. And you see the missed tackle right at the line of scrimmage. The defenders just kind of wipe off the back of Hunter Carlson. He turns those feet and picks up the first down.
It's Bud Stark, who is injured for the Rebels. And what a good feeling if you're Grace. You're protecting a lead. They probably know at least on first down you're going to run the ball like that, and you still are able to rip off about a dozen yards.
The problem is you have a couple of unblocked players, and that time it was Armand Nichols coming in, number 5, had his chance to get Carlson right at the line of scrimmage and just missed him.
Looks like in the right knee that they're working on with Stark.
Of course, he's a senior captain, so like we talked about, the players who are getting injured, they're big parts of this Champlin Park team.
Wondered if that might have been a situation again where the pile fell into him a little bit. Didn't really see exactly what happened, but it certainly appears that that knee, and kind of a hush falling over the stadium here as they're coming out to give him some assistance getting off the field here, I think.
Their trainer's certainly been kept busy here this evening.
Eagles, I think, asking, do you need a cart? Or looks like they got some beef out there to get him off there as Amos Guar and TJ Scott going to help him. No, he's going to be able to walk it off himself, it looks like.
Good.
So it'll be first down again for Grace. They're now into Champlin Park territory too. And obviously the situation and time and timeouts has just made that much harder for Champlin Park. The Eagles should wait a while before they snap this, and I think their coaches are probably going to realize that too, because after the injury the clock was restarted based on the result of the last play, which was a first down gain. So you stop the clock but then restart, and they're going to use as much time as they can here.
I guess you're going to see a heavy dose here of Hunter Carlson up the middle.
He'll get it again, and that time pretty well defended as Miles makes the stop after a gain of about 2.
Not using the timeout yet. My guess is if they can get a stop here and force third down, you'll see a timeout being used. If there's ever a time to run a play action, you think about it, now's that time, because Champlin Park's going to sell out to stop that run.
Second down and 9 coming up here for the Eagles. I always feel like, I mean, you definitely want to use as much time as you can, but you maybe risk getting yourself out of rhythm a little bit here too. Back to the ground to Carlson. And he's stopped at the 45.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they did use a timeout here. Yeah, Champlin Park will use the timeout. So they've got one remaining now as 3:33 to go. It'll be a third and about 7 coming up for Grace.
And it's always the decision for offense. Do you run it and force them to use the timeout even though you probably won't get the first, or do you take that chance, risk throwing the football? Yes, if you go incomplete, you stop the clock, but if you get that first down, you could essentially say this game is over with at that point. So I always like to see who's making this call here.
Let's go to Allie.
Guys, Champlin Park is happy to be here because last week it came down to a school board vote on whether or not sports and activities were going to continue because the schooling system in that area is really experiencing a higher rise and increase in COVID cases throughout the schools. So Coach Keenan said, you know, I kind of felt like we were going to get to play. There's a lot of pressure from the parents, right, that want these kids to play it as well as they do. But these kids have really taken things in stride. Which is just incredible. Everybody's doing the best they can given the circumstances. And, you know, they're happy to be here, and it's only an 8-point game, 3 minutes left.
Thanks, Allie. 3rd down and 7. Kolakowski, it is play action as he rolls right. He's going to tuck it and run himself, and he wanted to stay in bounds, and he does. Cam Hammond's chopping him down. He'll be short of the first down by about 2 yards.
Yeah, I love the play call there. That's the right play. Turned it upfield, and again, heads-up play. When you have a senior leader quarterback with experience, knowing to stay in bounds, keeps that clock running. And
they are going to bring the punt team on here.
Wow.
Not going to gamble to go for it on 4th and about 2 at the 39.
Well, this is where I go with a hard count, and if you take a delay of game or anything, it's 5, you know what I mean? You try to get Champlin Park to jump off sides, maybe pick up a cheap first down.
Totino-Grace going to use a timeout, and it almost felt like they called it a little sooner than would have needed. I guess I'm not sure on if the back judge had started that late count or not.
Felt like they had another 5 to 10 seconds.
I kind of thought so too. I mean, you don't want to panic and do something wrong, but at the same time, you could have probably used a little more time there. And it almost looked like Coach Anderson was looking at it. Maybe he wasn't the one who
made that call.
Yeah.
I wondered if they might think about putting their offense back on the field.
Yes, I just saw him say offense, let's go.
Yeah.
You're right, Ryan. I like this. I mean,
you're not going to, so number one, you don't have professional punters, so you're not guaranteed to put it in the 10-yard line, right? And what's 20, 25 yards at this point? I think he trusts his defense the way they're playing, and I always like, as a coach, you say, I trust my players to go make a play. 2 yards, I got one of the best running backs in the metro area. Go get us that first down. And really, the game comes down to this. If they get this first down with only one timeout, Champlin Park probably can't stop that clock enough. So this is big. Or do you just go hard count, trying to get them to jump off sides? Maybe, who knows? But I like the initial idea of going for it.
So the punt team retracted. The offense back out there for the Eagles. And Kolakowski's going to throw the pass, and it is complete, and it'll get him the first down. Rebels trying to pull that football out, but Max Hofschulte Beck, making the second catch of the night.
You could tell they had a play that they liked, and Champlin Park selling out to stop the run. Great play action right there, and an easy throw. And another big target. I know we've talked about Joe Alt at 6'8", but Hofschulte Beck at 6'3", 225, wide open in the flats and staying in bounds and moving that pile forward. Great execution.
And again, the clock does restart after the chains are moved, so the Eagles are going to hold as long as necessary here before snapping this one. Again, Rebels down to 1 timeout to go. Carlson takes the handoff, brought down by Sanders, and I think the Rebels will go ahead and use that last timeout right now. It's about all you can do.
Timeout. Champlin.
Carlson approaching 30 carries, unofficially 26 rushes for him.
Well, he's caught 2 touchdown passes, kickoff return for a touchdown. You know, his impact really been all over this game, and Totino has a couple players who have played big games both on offense and defense. Sam Fredheim's had a big game. Hofschulte Beck with a couple of big catches. Fans going nuts in the crowd. You love to see that. And two, I think the poise of that young man right there, Kolakowski, they've put the ball in his hands a little bit more here in the second half. He's not going to end up with huge numbers, but made a couple of really big, important plays. He had that big rush on 3rd down, for a conversion on a drive earlier, and there on 4th and 2. Put it in his hands, and he made a great throw and picked up a 1st down to keep the drive going.
Well, and obviously when it works out, everything looks good. But I like Don Roney, the offensive coordinator, I think has come up with some key calls at key times for Totino tonight, including that 4th down play. Go to Carlson. He's got some space. Carlson tripped up at the 5-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal. Now we've got a flag, though. This one might be coming back. Looks like it could be a hold. Yep. So never mind the big gainer there. Yep. So Hofschulte Beck, after making that huge 4th down conversion, picks up a holding call there.
You know what I wondered is would Hunter Carlson want to score, or would he want to go down?
See if we can pick it up. Number 6 here on the edge will be called for the penalty.
Oh boy, that's a terrible call. There's no hold on that, absolutely at all.
That was interesting.
Is that the first penalty too?
No, second.
Yeah.
Back to Carlson, another big gainer, makes a cut. Carlson down inside the 15 and then trying to hang on as they attempt to rip it free from him.
I'll tell you what you love as a coach when you're running back, knowing the only way you can maybe lose this game is by fumbling. Watch him get 2 hands on this football. Nice cut again right there. You can see those 2 hands go over the football knowing that defense is trying to rip that ball out. You love it when you trust your running back like that.
Another injury stoppage here, another Rebel down. As it looks like it may be Nichols who is injured, this time for Champlin Park. And unfortunately, we've seen that scenario far more than you'd like. You have to wonder, I mean, it's just hard to speculate, but just how different this season has been if it's maybe contributed to more injuries. I was thinking that at the college level too.
Well, you got to think, number one, they didn't have nearly as many practices to get ready. So your body isn't in football speed and shape. The number of reps are down. But two, weight rooms were closed, right?
Yeah,
so strength
right.
and endurance and stretching, all that stuff has been decreased significantly too. And even during the week, practices are different. You got to structure practice so you're not doing the same drill for longer than a certain amount of time. So the whole season's been different, and you can tell, injuries are going to be up. And I think, too, when you play against a physical running team like Totino-Grace tonight, I think injuries are just taking its toll on them as well.
So they'll wind the clock here. The Eagles maybe to the point where kneel downs is all they'll need here.
Yeah, looks like that's what they're going to do.
Because the Rebels are out of timeouts. Kolakowski can keep his eye on the back judge here and wait until he starts that.
What did they start
countdown.
at 5 or is it 10?
I believe it's 5, yeah. And here's where it's nice having a senior quarterback, too, that this kind of thing isn't anything that he's going to panic about watching there. You see the arm come up. And a kneel down for Kolakowski, as we'll be under a minute the next time they snap it, and the Eagles are going to be able to secure a third victory of this strange 2020 season. And again, both teams will be on CCX next week as well, as the Eagles host Cretin-Durham Hall, and a couple days before that we'll be seeing Champlin Park hosting Maple Grove.
Well, for Totino-Grace, obviously a good win against a winning program like that, but I think too, you know, talking to Coach Keenan before the game, I think they got to be pleased with how Cade Fitzgerald played tonight. You know, that's been one of their question marks, and he came in. I thought he had a lot of good throws tonight, gave his team a chance to win this football game.
One more kneel down there for Kolakowski, and Totino-Grace is going to be able to hang on for a 29-20 victory here this evening. Good football game. A lot of exciting things happen, and back and forth it went, and some big plays, obviously. And we said, I think Hunter Carlson was everything as advertised here for Totino-Grace, and we saw some great performances kind of sprinkled throughout the lineup for both these sides too here. And you know, a good, exciting football game here. You hate to lose it, but at the same time, you know that you're facing a pretty good opponent too.
And again, like you said, coming into the game with those 5 injuries, a number of significant players out during this game with injuries too. So I think you got to be proud of your effort if you're Champlin Park. And Totino-Grace, I thought, had a really good game plan and some great big execution when it mattered most. So fun game to be a part of, fun game to watch.
So a 29-21 victory here for Totino-Grace. And again, one regular season game left for both of these clubs as they get set to wrap up the regular season next week. And it's been a strange one in that regard too. I mean, normally at this time we'd be deep into playoffs. And fortunate to have such a wonderful evening tonight weather-wise, and maybe won't be quite as good again by next week, but we can live with that at this point as we're heading into the stretch toward playoff time for these teams as well. Let's go down now to Allie with one of the Happy Eagles.
Guys, I've got Hunter Carlson here. Hunter, you're getting that first W at home of the season. It was a hard-fought battle this entire way through. What did your team do to prevail at the end?
I mean, we just stuck with the plan. We took it down, we grinded down, pounded the ball, tired them out, and we executed when we needed to. It was a good team effort, man. And it feels great to get our first win at home in our first game.
Absolutely. You had 3 scores tonight, almost 4, but 3 scores, 2 that stand out. A 45-yard touchdown reception and then a kick return to the house. Which was your favorite, and take us through that play?
I'm going to do a kick return. I haven't had one of those in a while, but that 45-yard one was fun. I mean, like, that was a new play we added in this week, and it was just fun to get it to work first try.
Your defense executed well tonight, too. It was kind of a battle of the running backs, right? And Sean Shipman went out in the 4th quarter, but how did your defense do so well to be able to make sure he didn't blow up the scoreboard?
I mean, we stuck with the plan, too. I mean, he's a great running back, and I give all props to him. Like, I've watched him before, and he's great, but our defense game plan for that, and we just took advantage of what we had, and we prevailed in the end, and it felt great.
He is great. Tonight, you were better, Hunter. Tomorrow or next week, we come and we cover you guys again playing Cretin. What are we going to see next week out of your team as you got this first W here?
I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I'm just glad you guys are able to come out here because we have a good team and it's a fun team to watch. And I know that because I love the film and I watch it. Great group of guys here, and we're going to do something this year. I can feel it.
It's going to be your last regular season game next week. What do you want to see them bring to the table that is going to put a stamp mark on the end of this regular, weird, crazy COVID season for you guys?
It has been crazy. I mean, every practice in and out has been crazy. Like, sometimes we didn't even know if we're going to have a season, but I just hope for the best game possible. I hope Cretin comes with all they got, and we come with all I got. I don't, win or lose, I just want a good game. I mean, they're a great opponent for us, so I mean, anything will help us there. I can't wait for that game.
Hunter, you were very fun to watch tonight. Have a great rest of your night with your team.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
Thanks, Allie, and thanks to Hunter Carlson, and congratulations to the Eagles as they go to 3-2 with a nice victory here over Champlin Park. And as we did mention, both teams you'll be able to see on CCX in their final regular season game next week. That'll do it for our coverage here from Jim Totino Field. For Ryan Iverson, Allie Mosley, and all of our CCX crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. Good night from Totino-Grace.